we have with us here Jeffrey Lipton, CEO of Nova Chemicals. Hello, Mr. Lipton, and welcome to the GPCA Forum.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
What do you think has been the impact of the global financial crisis on the chemical and petrochemical industries?
Well, the impact, I think, varies dramatically by the company involved in our industry. There are some very large, very substantial companies that are involved not only in chemicals, but the oil and gas business. And I think it's had some impact on them, but not a material impact. There are others who are individual companies that are more highly levered, that are very concerned about their company's balance sheets and their cash flow. And I think it's forced them to focus on much more on cash flow than they had been in the past. And of course, all of us sell to similar customers who are very concerned about their balance sheets. They tend to be smaller companies. They're concerned about how their bankers will look at them at the end of the year. And as a consequence, they're trying to make their balance sheets as strong as they can possibly be. And the primary tool for doing that is to reduce inventories and generate cash. And as a consequence, we've seen customers all over the world reduce their purchases in the fourth quarter while maintaining their consumption in many cases, but certainly buying less than they're consuming in almost every case to try to reduce their working capital needs.
And how has this scenario affected Nova Chemicals?
Well, we've been impacted by it all. We are focusing on our cash flow. We are trying to reduce our inventories. We generally operate with very low inventories, but we're operating with even lower inventories in the fourth quarter. And we're looking at our customers, primarily polyethylene customers, that are consuming material at pretty good rates, but buying less so that their inventories are coming down. And we're seeing the same thing happening in Asia and South America and North America.
Nova recently shut down its styrenic polymer site in Monaca, Pennsylvania. So will we see more shutdowns in the near future?
I think for us, we have advantaged facilities, and for the main part of our business, which is ethylene and polyethylene, I think there's little likelihood to see the same kind of thing we've done at Monaca. There in Pennsylvania, we had a temporary shutdown to recalibrate our inventories and to allow our customers to do the same thing. But in the ethylene and polyethylene business, our assets, particularly those in Alberta, are very strong, very cost advantaged, and as a consequence, I think we'll keep running at full rates there without any doubt. The question really is, what will our customers do? And what we've seen them do is reduce their purchases, even though, as we can measure it, their consumption has stayed very strong in 2008, even in the fourth quarter, compared to 2007.
You said that you expect polyethylene demand to go up despite the global economy and analysts' expectations of low demand. Can you explain that?
Certainly. I think the real key is to understand the applications for polyethylene. And it's different than many other polymers. Most of polyethylene is used to package food and other consumer staple needs. And as a consequence, we've seen over many, many years and many economic cycles that the demand for polyethylene continues to grow, even in the worst of times. I think we're seeing the same thing now. And I think that means, since polyethylene represents about 60% of demand for ethylene, we will see continued growth in ethylene demand as well as polyethylene.
Nova announced plans to invest $80 million to modernize and expand its polyethylene production at 2 sites in Ontario over the next 2 years. How is that progressing?
Well, of course, we're watching our cash just like everybody else, and we're going in a measured way. But the economics for those projects are so strong that we will eventually build them out, and I'd say sooner rather than later, so that we can make full use of our ethylene cracker and, I think, bring more product to the marketplace.
Nova also signed a joint venture agreement with Reliance Industries of India in the building and construction sector. How is that moving forward?
Well, the key there will be how retail growth develops in India. And Reliance had hoped to build many facilities to capture more and more of the retail market. And our joint venture was designed to allow them to do that with advantaged technology that reduced energy needs in shopping centers and the like. And the real determinant in the growth of that joint venture will be Reliance's building needs as we go forward. And I don't know that they're settled at the moment as to exactly what they're going to do.
How do you think the GPCA Forum in Dubai will benefit its participants?
Well, I think getting answers to questions like yours and kind of sharing with each other what we see. I think different parts of the chemical industry are reacting differently in this economic turmoil. There are some products that go into the manufacture of automobiles or into construction. They are certainly being hit by demand destruction. But there are other components, like polyethylene, that are relatively strong. And I don't believe our industry ought to be depressed about everything. I think the issues ought to be focused on one by one by one. And I think as we share our experiences, we'll actually build up some confidence that 2009 will not be anywhere near as bad as most people think it might be.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr.
Okay,
Lipton.
thank you.